in this situation? Was there an imminent threat?
Not, in my opinion, one that justified a use of deadly force.
First at 6, testimony has now wrapped for the day in the trial of former Grand Rapids police officer Christopher Schurr.
Schurr is charged with second-degree murder in the death of Patrick Lyoya. The jury must decide if his actions during a traffic stop 3 years ago are considered murder.
Yesterday, 8 people took the stand. Today, 3 more. They included the use of force experts and an engineer who explained how tasers work. One of the big topics discussed today was officer-created jeopardy. Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker explains what that means, and he has the latest from the courtroom tonight. Ken.
Now, the prosecution is trying to prove that tactical errors made by Officer Schurr, including chasing Lyoya on foot, put the officer in jeopardy and led to the shooting, which an expert called unreasonable. It's called officer-created jeopardy. Schurr's defense attorney argued without success that the jury should not hear about it.
It's absolutely dangerous if we're going to ask Officer Schurr that once you do a foot pursuit and you're negligent, that you can no longer defend yourself or others.
The prosecutor's expert witness, a former Florida police officer and now a law professor who has written extensively on police tactics, had given his opinion before on this case to Target 8 while watching videos released by GRPD shortly after the shooting. His take back then, the videos were not proof either way that Schurr had committed a crime when he shot Lyoya in the back of the head during a struggle over the officer's taser.
It raises some very significant red flags.
Schurr's attorney questioned him about that TV interview.
Do you recall having an interview with Ken Kolker from Channel 8 News?
Yes.
The expert testified he has since reviewed other evidence in the case.
Video never tells the entire story.
He said he found that a reasonable officer under the same circumstances would not have fired the shot. Professor Seth Stoughton questioned why Schurr chased Lyoya on foot, especially with a passenger in the car.
Letting someone flee from a traffic stop for an improper plate is certainly better than getting into a fight and losing, or getting shot in the back by an assailant that you couldn't keep an eye on because you were running away from an occupied suspect vehicle.
Schurr, he says, could have ID'd Lyoya later and gotten a warrant. He also says Schurr had the tactical advantage over Lyoya as they fought.
There was no ability, there was no physical capacity for Mr. Lyoya to incapacitate the officer with anything.
And he said the officer should have warned that he was going to shoot.
It would have been feasible in this case to give a specific warning about the use of deadly force prior to that use of force.
Testimony today also focused on the taser that Schurr and Lyoya were fighting over. A forensic investigator from the taser manufacturer Axon testified that the weapon was still dangerous as they fought.
It's designed to be less lethal, but in the hands of a person who's not trained on it or someone who has ill intent, it could be dangerous.
Now, the prosecutor's 11th and final witness will return to the stand tomorrow morning. Then the defense will get its turn. Live in Grand Rapids, Ken Kolker, News 8.
All right, Ken, live outside of the courthouse today. Another busy day in court as this trial is moving along quickly. Ken, thank you.
Thanks, Ken. As the trial resumes tomorrow, make sure to stay with News 8 for the latest developments straight from the courtroom.